We are talking about the importance of language and rhetoric in interfaith dialogue. There are 5 categories of rhetoric that organizers need to pay attention to. One is exclusivism. The second one is inclusivism. The third one is parallelism. The fourth one is interpenetration or mutualism. The fifth one is pluralism. Let me begin with the first one. Again, in the context of interfaith dialogue, exclusivism is a type of rhetoric that reflects the idea that one's religion contains exclusive truths and one's tradition has no links to other faith traditions. In other words, exclusive rhetoric is used in an attempt to contrast superior tradition to inferior traditions. By the explicit or implied reasoning of exclusive rhetoric, inferior traditions are based on false beliefs. So dialogues with exclusive rhetoric do not encourage an open atmosphere of learning, nor do they build trust with the participants. In other words, when you exclude others, you employ your own form of apartheid, the spirit of apartheid, separate development, or we are superior, they are inferior. You start failing. You start messing everything up. Number 2, inclusivism is the rhetoric that reflects the mentality that one is open to dialogue with the other, that one is interested in being inclusive of other cultures and religious beliefs, but that one's beliefs still prevails as the ultimate truth. Inclusivists want to know the other because they want to know the weakness and flaws in the other's traditions to use against him. They often present themselves as tolerant and accepting of others. However, although they value other parts of religious traditions, inclusivists do not believe there is any intrinsic truth to the other tradition. What I'm saying is, when you use language, the language we must not, organizers must be very careful with inclusivists just as exclusivists. The other one is parallelism. The rhetoric of parallelism acknowledges the truths of other faith traditions and reflects openness and tolerance to one other tradition. That is very important when you are using language in interfaith dialogue. You make other people, you be tolerant, use the language of tolerance, because through dialogue, this rhetoric affirms a view that all religious traditions have parallel creeds, parallel histories, parallel doctrines, and ultimately that there is a common human pilgrimage in our faith traditions. So advocates of parallelism respect other traditions and attempt not to judge other religions. You don't not judge other people and expect in mutual agreement. These advocates of parallelism, they are not interested in syncretism or affirming universalistic conclusions about all religious traditions. They don't say all religions should form this pattern like mine or like this other one. The fourth point to consider in the importance of language and rhetoric in interfaith dialogue is interpenetration or mutualism. Now, the proponents of interpenetration or mutualism are experienced participants and thinkers in the interfaith dialogue process. They have participated in dialogues for a very long time and come to what they see as a greater realization about religious traditions. Specifically, they believe that other faiths are not independent of their own faiths. The interpenetrationists or mutualists do not view other religious traditions as competitors to win over. They are not missionaries winning the heathens or something like that, but rather as traditions that complement or in some cases supplement some of their own beliefs. To them, the interpenetrationist or mutualist dialogue arouse one to truly understand the interconnectedness of traditions and other religious traditions, help in the consciousness of oneself. Proponents of this rhetoric will speak of a mutual interpenetration, essentially saying we need each other's tradition to be ourselves. This rhetoric aims to touch the spiritual growth of the members and frames interfaith dialogue as a means to develop a mutual enhancement. The last point among the 5 categories of rhetoric that organizers need to pay attention to is pluralism. The rhetoric of pluralism in interfaith dialogue contests the absolutism of all faith traditions and attempts to acknowledge the manyness of cultures, religions, ethnicities, tribes, countries, languages. Each group has varied insights to offer. Advocates of pluralism do not want to win over any one group, but their aim is to encourage the love and understanding of each other. Since everything is intelligible, the dream is to understand everything. As rational beings, proponents of interfaith dialogue and all types of dialogues need to achieve rational knowledge and loving awareness of others. Critics of the pluralists assert that they minimize the uniqueness of religious traditions, but pluralists think that dialogues need to move participants beyond the dogmatic thinking or fixed mind mentality, believing and even acting. On the whole, or in conclusion, the categories of interfaith dialogue rhetoric described above exemplify the basic attitudes and posturing that appear in the dialogic work. This is not an exhaustive assessment. In fact, human encounters between faith communities are usually far more complex than we have described. Organizers will benefit from recognizing the rhetoric at work in interfaith dialogue because it may direct or influence the direction of dialogue. And in addition, organizers of interfaith dialogue need to pay attention to the dynamics of the group and actively listen to the dialogue in order to see which direction the language is taking the interfaith dialogue. Thank you.